So, in this video, let's have a look at creating multiple strokes on whole words, for example, in Affinity Designer for iPad. Think of a word as multiple objects, and we're going to create multiple strokes on them. Now, this is really difficult to do ordinarily in Designer, but let's look at how it can be done. And you can see here, there's a good example that I've created, and we're going to go ahead and create that. Maybe slightly different colours, that's alright. And you can see the strokes around the outside edge of the words buzz. So understanding the process of multiple strokes on whole words, the process of drawing strokes on all objects that make up a set, like a word in the iPad version, is not as simple as it is on the desktop. Indeed, it can seem quite complex, rather daunting. Takes a while to find it if you haven't done already. This tutorial will step you through adding strokes to multiple objects at the same time. This is not the same for just one object or just one letter in the word. That's relatively easy to do, and it's the same on the desktop and the iPad. But if you want to do this for a whole word, it requires a bit of double shuffling, shall we say. So let's start with a blank canvas. Just open a blank canvas. It doesn't matter what size really for this exercise. And add the word buzz, B-U-Z-Z, and use something like Futura Bold. It's a very large, very bold font. It's nice and large and it's easy to see. And you can see I've got it just about the entire canvas width there. And you can see upon inspection that the fill and stroke are both defaulting to black. That's the circle and the donut. They're both black. Now we need to change a few colours so we can see what we're doing. So we can change the stroke colour and even remove the fill, which is the black of course. Here I've changed the stroke to a deep blue from the swatches in the colour panel and set the stroke width to 6 points so you can see it. And that's a dark blue, for want of struggling to find another word for the colour. We're still only one stroke. We still only have one layer or one object and one stroke. You can see the layer there, and it has the stroke around it. The Appearance Studio is where you can add strokes. You'll see this in the help file and in various examples, and a really good example on the Affinity help site. But as you see, not in this case. You can't add strokes yet. When you can, you'll see two plus signs here, little plus signs in a circle, one to add strokes and one to add fills. And we'll get to that momentarily. So let's go back to our Colour Studio and remove the fill. Simply select the fill icon in the two little dots there and select the one with the traffic sign in it, with the stroke across it. Now the single stroke around all the letters is clear. You're just left with the stroke around the letter. Go back to Colour Studio and make sure you have stroke selected, and you can see there that there's a purple donut or a purple circle. We're now going to lose this stroke because the next action we lose the stroke as well. Now it gets into a slightly more complex process here. From this point on there is really no going back, so you can experiment with this and you may find some really interesting effects. But for this exercise, once you start down this road, there's really no going back unless you use the history option. So make your strokes no colour. That's a blank circle with a line through it. And go to Commands and select Separate Curves. This is the first step. So everything is selected as normal, the single layer, and select Separate Curves. Continuing on, Curves no colour and Separate Curves. So you can see there. Now Separate Curves, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers there, each of them a separate curve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But there's only 4 letters. Aha! The letter B has 2 curves in it. 2 extras, the centre parts of the B. So they're separate too. This is fine, and they're all selected. Don't deselect them, leave them all selected. Don't touch that. Setting the strokes. All the strokes will be selected still from the previous separate stroke command. So, go up to your colour panel, to the colour icon there, set the stroke to orange from the swatches panel. Well, you can use any colour you like, but I used orange, and set the width to 5 point. And you can see there it's very clear, the letters, including the centre parts of the B, and they're all set to 5 point and showing up within the letters very nicely. But hey, I still can't add strokes to the entire line of text. We're still stuck with 1 stroke and no option showing in the Appearance panel to add strokes. So select the Appearance Studio, have a look. The Appearance panel appears, but still no Addition option. Still stuck with 1 stroke. But not for long. So now we have to call out the Commands menu again, and we will select Merged Curves. You can see all layers are still selected, so select Merge Curves, and a wondrous thing happens. Now all layers are merged and we can proceed. But you can still see the bounding box is still around all the letters. It's just they're all merged into one. We still have the entire curve selected, or the entire set of curves. Now can we do anything? There we go. Looking now at the Appearance Studio, we now have the option to add multiple strokes. I've taken this long way around because it gives you the chance to make other design changes before reaching this point. And I, in truth, found no other way of arriving at this point. So let's add some strokes. Now, fairly obviously, the first plus sign is a stroke. The second plus sign is a fill. We don't want that, just select the stroke. Tapping on the transparent plus sign adds a new stroke. You can now modify that stroke as you need. So go back to the stroke panel. That's the little wavy brush beneath the blue circle you can see there. And in this case, I've added a blue stroke, 8 point, and set its position in the advanced drop-down menu with the align option. I've got the line aligned on the outside edge. We now have orange and blue strokes, and if you look carefully at that, you'll see the orange stroke, the original one, and the blue stroke is now aligned outside of it. And you can use either of the other 2 align options to change that alignment, just what you want. Back to the Appearance Studio and add another stroke. You can see the strokes there. When you add one, it comes up as a blank stroke with the selected dot next to it. Following the same action, we can add, say, a green stroke that is hand adjusted to 3.7 point. And using the Align tool, we can put it in position. So you now have orange, green and blue showing up around your letter. Now you can probably make that as rainbow as you like, but in this exercise I'm probably going to leave it there. I rather like that effect. Finally, let's complete the design. We'll add some text. Now, just like the original example I showed you, a layer appears with parkour written in that line. And complete the design by adding some graphics into the word buzz. You probably know how to do that by now. Slipping an image from the stock studio on the right there, slipping an image in behind the buzz. Remember, the buzz has no fill content in it. We removed that fill content. You could actually go back to your colour swatches and stroke panel there and put a fill back in there, but who needs a plain fill when you can put a nice image in there? So at the moment you've got parkour and buzz and an overall background, all images from the pixels in the stock studio. You've slipped the background in behind everything and there you go. That's the end result. A rather nice image. The blue complementing the buildings, a bit of green and orange for contrast. The orange probably, well, slightly complementing the skin tones. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you do.